what is spirituality? Firstly, let me introduce myself. I'm Rob Durlich, and I grew up ultra-conservative fundamental Christian, which basically means I was told what to believe and how to believe it, and if I strayed from those beliefs, God was going to kick my ass. Well, I strayed from those beliefs, and God did not kick my ass. In fact, I discovered more spiritual freedom and more love and more of everything, really, that's available to us in the world. And this YouTube channel is about what I've discovered, the questions I've asked along the way, and where I'm at in my journey. And I wanted to share all of those insights and part of that journey with you. What is spirituality? So this is kind of a big question, a big umbrella question that everyone has a different answer for. That's why there's so many damn religions, right? Christianity has over 30,000 different denominations within itself, all trying to answer this one question: what is spirituality? Really, how do we relate to God? That's what we're trying to ask here. Who is God? Who are we? And how do we relate to God? It's a question that's been really asked since the beginning of time. But let's break this down, because there's a lot of people that define spirituality in many different ways, including a big umbrella of just be and be present. And there's a lot of stuff going on with this. I think, and what I've discovered through all the religion that I've been through the trials and errors of finding my way to this particular point, is that spirituality is actually really simple. It is unbelievable how fucking simple spirituality is, because here's the deal. Spirituality is just about connection. Connection to ourselves, to other people, and then from those connections, then we connect to God. That's the mystery of it. Religion and a lot of the spiritual practices that are out there are about connecting to a God that is out there. Whether they say Jesus is in your heart, it is still, by how the language is worded and what's implied, we're still connecting to a dualistic God. We are here, God is there, and we need to bridge that connection using what God gave us to do that, and each religion breaks that out differently. When in fact, here's what I've come to believe. Here's what I've come to experience. God was inside of us the whole time. God is not out there. And we don't need a special bridge in order to connect all the dots for God to then accept us and be happy with us. God's already here. We're part of God. We are one with God. We do perceive God as separate because we do have a I, self, ego that experiences the world through its own perception. But from a simple standpoint of what spirituality is, let's just look at it from a standpoint of connection. In the first place, in order to understand God or any part of the universe or any part of reality, we have to understand firstly ourselves. We have to connect within. Without that connection, we're just connecting to an idea of who God is and what God is and what reality is. Everything that we see in the universe comes through our lens of perception. We can't escape it. We cannot have a perception outside of ourselves. So everything is through our lens of perception. In that, we are the center of the universe because we have no other viewpoint. We can perceive somebody else's viewpoint, but it is still through our lens, through our viewpoint. And that leads me back to how simple spirituality is. It's connection, firstly, to ourselves. When we open up our heart and we go inside, we realize that we're not sinners, that life is complex, and there's a lot of things that come at us from the moment that we are born that make us who we are and choices we made along the way. But when we connect and open up our hearts and face our darkness and face our shadows and face the doubts and the questions that we have, what we come out with is an authentic view of who we are. We don't have to mask it with what society tells us to do or tells us to be. And especially we don't have to mask it with what religion tells us to be. Connecting with ourselves then allows us to have an authentic connection with other people. And if they're on a similar journey, they can open up their authentic selves and connect back with us. Now that is a spiritual connection with other people. And what do we normally find when we have those kind of connections? That there's something supernatural that happens at those levels. Oh, maybe it's God. And maybe in our humanity, instead of escaping it as religion wants us to do, all of it's about dualism. We are bad. God is good. We must get to what is good. And each religion has a different pathway in how to get there. But it's all based on dualism. That this natural body, that this natural experience in humanity is bad. Most of religions about getting us to what is good, escaping suffering and getting into enlightenment, or becoming free of sin, or doing all the right rituals and laws in order for God to be happy with us. God is already happy with you. It's really simple. It's just more about you connecting within to the deeper parts of who you are, because that's where God is. That's where God can connect into you. And that is where you can connect into other people. And then you start to realize that we're all connected into the universe and into God. So let's keep spirituality really simple. Just work on connecting, because that in and of itself is hard enough. Connecting to yourself is complex because you're a multi-layered dimensional being. And I believe there are 6 different parts of who you are. And that's in a different video. So as you try to unravel the mystery of the universe and what spirituality is and what religion is trying to tell you, it all comes down to your heart. It's just opening your heart. It's not magic. It's nothing special. There's no prayer. It's dropping into your heart, opening up, realize that you are good, that there's beauty inside you, there's light inside you, that, yeah, there's a lot of chaos that might be surrounding your life, but there's a core inside you that is divine, that is beautiful, that is love, and drop into that. Seek to drop into that and watch your life spiritually change. And guess what? You'll be just like me. You won't need religion. You'll be able to separate out and realize they can live an authentically free and simple spiritual life.